I'm not sure, Patrick, that's something I can comment on. I think that the counts in the indictment speak for themselves. There are serious felony theft, offense, misuse of state property, workers' comp, fraud that isn't per se related to state employment, but quite clearly there are allegations contained in the indictment of misuse of state property and state personnel and equipment and campaign-related items. I think they're all probably, by their nature, it's the entire picture contained in the 10 counts that you would observe and comment on.
Is there any kind of commentary you can provide in terms of the social impact, what it means in terms of keeping our democratic society in order that you're prosecuting this case?
Not really, Paul. I think we reviewed the facts that were found from the investigation by the investigators and are pursuing the charges that are shown by those facts, as we do in hopefully every case. And so I really would comment on that.
This is the 1-year anniversary of Marc Dann's resignation. Is that just coincidence, or is there some sort of statute of limitations in which you had to act here?
No, there is not, and I didn't know that until Alan Johnson told me that this morning when he called. And so there is no coincidence, but I think it probably is appropriate to move forward with what you have after there has been a year go by.
Is there any statute of limitations attached to this? Do you have a deadline to act?
Our deadlines to act are 6 years on felonies and 2 years on misdemeanors. Public officials, the statute does not start to run until someone ceases that public employment. So for most of these cases, and sometimes we do get into issues with misdemeanors where they have to go first to the Elections Commission, or they may have to first go to the Ethics Commission. And in some cases we'll seek a waiver of that misdemeanor statute of limitations so it doesn't run. Other cases we have seen that we have too much time pass, and that's why we pretty carefully watch them nowadays. And so I don't perceive there to be a statute of limitations problem, and that isn't why today's the day that this was considered by the grand jury, and it's probably more coincidence than anything else with respect to the day. But since there had been sufficient time occur in trying to diligently move forward, we thought it was appropriate to go ahead.
Would your office consider striking a plea agreement with Anthony Gutierrez if he cooperates on other aspects of the cases against other athletes?
Plea agreements or potential plea agreements are something I can't talk about until they are concluded, and they're not concluded in this case.
What about, you've prosecuted other public officials. How does this compare in magnitude with the other prosecutions you brought?
Most of the ones in recent years have not contained theft offenses. Most of them have been ethics violations, which are primarily misdemeanors. So I think that's probably how it has compared. We obviously over the years have had some felonies, but most of the things that I think that we have seen and that Mr. Field or Tom Charles has sent down have typically been misdemeanors rather than rising the level of felonies. So I think that's how it would compare.
Would it be fair to characterize this then as one of the more serious allegations that you've made against a public official in recent history?
By measure of the penalties, yes.
In terms of the grand jury process, were there other charges that you brought that the grand jury did not return indictments?
I could not comment on that. Yeah, that's something I can't comment on.
And as far as the process, was that all handled in one day, or has that been a multiple day?
I think in this day and age, when I first started here in this office, we used to be able to pick up the phone and call banks or utility companies or other people and ask them for records, and they would cooperate and send them. Nowadays, you have to issue subpoenas, and so I think it's fair to say that the process is ongoing, probably in a documentary process for a long period of time while documents are collected, primarily done at the Ethics Commission or the IG's office, but I think grand juries typically can issue subpoenas, and that might drag on for a period of time before you're ready to have them consider charges.
Was today the first day that they met on these charges?
I really don't think I want to comment on what the grand jury did or didn't do. Those are things I can't talk about, and I guess I don't want to, off the cuff, make a remark that might haunt me later.
What about the timeline for prosecution? Do you have any feel for how stacked the docket is?
The docket's very stacked. I would think that this case would probably move along expeditiously, given how the system works. Typically, there's a pretrial request for discovery. We provide the discovery, and the defense counsel reviews it, and then court sets it for trial. So I would think this would move relatively expeditiously because, as I told someone I think earlier, this just presents in indictment form many of the things that you all put in the media some time ago. But presumably they now are fully investigated, documented, and witness statements taken, documents secured, those kinds of things to make the what may have been known via the media, make it court ready for presentation.
Ron, given the prior cooperation